Hi everyone, and welcome to the third of our series of webinar presentations. Today, I am joined with a student from the UBC Master of Management program, and we'll be having a bit of a discussion into the program itself. So as you probably know, my name is Kevin. I am one of the recruitment and admissions managers here in the graduate school, and I am joined today by Mackenzie Jones, who is from our current class. So Mackenzie, you can say hello.
Hi, Kevin. Thanks for having me. I'm Mackenzie. Happy to be here today.
Great.
Excited.
Wonderful. And today we'll just run through a couple of different questions. I think a lot of people who are about to enter the program or who are thinking about the program will have thoughts on the student experience and what's actually like to be a student
Sure.
while they're here in the school itself. So why don't we just kind of kick things off with a very, very simple question. So Mackenzie, can you maybe tell us, where and what did you study during your undergraduate degree?
Yeah, so a little bit different from business. I studied international affairs and political science at Northeastern University in Boston, Massachusetts, which is not only in another country, but literally like other side, east versus west of North America. So a bit different.
Cool. And what made you decide to come to the UBC Master of Management, going from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast here in Canada?
Yeah, so I actually considered going to UBC for undergrad because, I think for three reasons. I kind of came to Sauder and chose UBC, but the first being Vancouver, the city itself. It's so beautiful. If you haven't been here, you need to come because there's mountains, ocean, the people. It's so international, which I love. I feel like anyone can come here and feel like you're a part of a community, and the people are really kind. So that was a really big draw. I would say a second reason was I knew after undergrad and after I'd worked for 2 years that I kind of wanted to transition into business, but because of my past experience, I lacked sort of like some business acumen that I wanted to acquire. So after some further research, I looked online and it just seemed like the Master of Management was sort of that perfect segue into business for someone like me with my background. And the third reason would be, in my opinion, Sauder has a really good reputation in the greater Vancouver area, and it's definitely improved throughout the years. So I was really excited to kind of, join that movement almost as it improves. So.
Okay. So when you were looking at the program, was there any one thing that stood out to you as being particularly unique about the or one thing that was a really, really big attractive factor to you?
Yeah, I would say for me, I kind of just said this, but I knew that I wanted to go in business, but I was looking a lot of MBA programs elsewhere, and I felt like I wasn't prepared for them. Whereas the Master of Management program really, really tailors to students who know that they want to do that, but also maybe don't know exactly what they want to do, which is kind of where I stood. Like I like the idea of business more generally, but like what specifically I wanted to do, I didn't know that niche thing. So this program has really been kind of like an explorative experience almost, where I've gained knowledge and understanding about myself and where I would fit in the business realm. And that's been really helpful for me.
Okay. So kind of this leads to my next question.
Mhm.
You're in the middle of your program right now. So how have your career goals changed, or how's it, the career development programming giving you a bit of perspective in what you would like to do? And do you know yet what you want to do?
Do we ever really know?
That's true.
I would say it definitely has changed. Before this, I was working with AmeriCorps, kind of doing nonprofit work, and I knew I wanted to move into CSR, or thought I wanted to move into CSR. But since being here, sort of the opportunities that have been presented to me, I've actually learned that I love my organizational behavior classes. I find them fascinating and really interesting. But I've also really liked kind of working on events and coordination and management. So I feel like what I thought I was interested in, I'm still definitely super interested in, but there's maybe ways that could be applied to things where I've learned that I'm strong at, that before I had never even had the chance to learn about or see if I didn't even know those fields existed. Almost like events, I had no real experience in events, so that's been kind of, it's been minor, so that's really grown. But the same with OB. I didn't even really understand that. before with my background. And so now I just have loved my OB classes.
Okay. And kind of on the topic of events, I guess this kind of leads into my question for you about the Society. And as I understand it, you are the Vice President Events for the Society. So for those people who may not know this is, what is the Society?
Yeah, so the Society is a group of students that kind of endeavors to enhance the experience of the entire cohort, both, I guess, professionally, socially, and academically. So as the events person, what that means is I'm kind of in a position to provide, host, coordinate events for the entire cohort to come to. And I've kind of made it a goal for myself to do kind of one small event per month. And then really kind of go big with the final gala at the end of the year. And then in January, we had a welcome back reception. And that has been, honestly, it's unpaid, but it has been some of the most fulfilling work that I've ever done, because what is really great about events is that you can actually see you can see the impact that your work has. Whereas if you're doing other things like teaching or just lots of other things, which there's nothing wrong with this, you can't see like that instant satisfaction or everything come together. You kind of have to cross your fingers and hope in many cases. So it's really like powerful when an event actually comes together and you see people interacting at a dinner or laughing and you feel like you were a part of that moment. So I've really learned to love that, but I consider myself kind of like detail oriented. So I've really liked kind of like the coordinating details part of that. But some of the other, things that the execs can do to kind of enhance the experience for the students is there's the VP International, who sort of connects international students with, individuals who will make their process if they want to get PR or different things, not just that, but a lot of things just to make their experience in Vancouver, more pleasant. There's the VP Finance, who deals with our budget, VP Career Affairs, who works with external employers to kind of potentially bring in people to talk to us and provide, work opportunities and whatnot. So there's a lot of opportunity there if you really want to get involved, to find something that you're passionate about, but also to really make a difference for the cohort. So.
Yeah, this sounds like an amazingly multifaceted opportunity.
Yeah.
There's so many ways that a student could get involved with this particular program. So, that being said, it must be incredibly busy for you. And you are in the middle of your program right now. So one question that comes up quite frequently is, what is the day of a typical student? Like, what does that look like for you as an student?
Honestly, it's really busy. Monday through Thursday, I wake up and I usually have either a half day or a full day of classes, starting anywhere from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then going until either noon on our half days or 4 on, there's still half days. There's still 2 classes each day, but the way that it's scheduled, sometimes they go later into the day. But so you're in classes, and then when you're not in classes, you're usually working on group projects or assignments or readings, or if you're doing extracurriculars, like I'm also doing intramural volleyball, which takes up, a day once a week, or actually it's 2 days this week, and then also VP events. So I've definitely, I can't take a breath sometimes. I feel like I've lost touch a little bit with, not really, but sometimes I feel like I've lost, I don't call my family as much as maybe I should. Yeah. But in the same vein, I have learned that I really love to stay busy, because I feel like it energizes me the busier I am. And it's always like that next thing. What do I want to do? And so I feel like when you're not doing anything, you can get trapped in laziness. But the busyness for me it feels good and it's fulfilling. So although I am super busy, that doesn't bother me personally. It kind of just makes me want to keep going and give 100% to every task. Like, cross that off, next thing, cross that off, do well.
Okay. Yeah. Well, good to know that you're keeping busy, but still breathing. That's always something we want to hear from our students.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you probably are working on right now, kind of in your quote unquote spare time, is the community business project.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about kind of where you're at with your community business project, who your client is, if you can, and what you're doing in the team?
Yeah, the CBP project, is really, really cool because it gives us a chance to kind of get that professional experience while in school because we're consulting with, different clients. My client, our group, we're working with soul food street farms, and they're kind of an urban, I don't want to say it wrong, but they're an urban farming, initiative, nonprofit. And they're based in Vancouver. And so they have a specific project that we're working on with them where they're hoping to increase revenue. Okay. And so it's been a chance for us to kind of learn about something that we don't know anything about, in my case. But it's also just been, we're still in the beginning phases, but it's been a really great way to kind of apply what we've learned in our classes to this project. So for example, right now we're doing a little bit of market research, and a group member and I are actually right after this, we're going to go to Home Depot downtown and we're going to observe some people and the way that they buy a certain product. So it'll be really cool, but we did kind of similar things, we made surveys, and another thing we did for CPP, which we did for market research, is the surveys. And so it's been really cool to kind of see that all connect.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, great that you are a student part of this program. One of the things, of course, that students ask too coming into the program is they're worried a lot about their application. Yeah. So for you, how did you find the application process? Was it easy for you? Were there a lot of different moving parts? And how did you organize yourself on that?
So my situation was a little bit unique, actually, because I applied not for this year. I applied for the year before, and then I deferred. But so I kind of don't remember too much from the application, but I remember there was a video involved. Is that still, that's still part of it. And I actually really liked that. I felt like it was an opportunity to get creative and kind of show the people admissions office, who I really was, and, be creative a little bit. I also did one thing I did that made me feel kind of more calm when applying was I did a lot of informational interviews with students here, but also the admissions staff beforehand. So I knew, one, that this was the right fit for me, but two, I just got a better feel of what it's like to be a part of Sauder. So if you're interested in coming here, I would definitely recommend that, because then you don't waste your time if it's not the right fit for you, and if it is the right fit, you can find that and kind of move forward with confidence. So when I was applying, I actually had a contact who I could ask questions to, because I'd been sort of in contact with that person for a little bit throughout the process.
Great. Good to know that you did your research and you kind of knew what you were getting yourself into. Of course, another question that students ask is the GMAT or the GRE. So which one of those things did you do?
So I took the GRE, and I've never been a huge fan of standardized tests, but you got to do it. I took it immediately after I graduated from undergrad because I wanted everything to be fresh in my mind. Get out of the way. Yeah. Even though I did work for a couple of years after, I wanted to get it done with then. And you got to do it. I did okay. If you don't do great, the amazing thing about the GRE and the GMAT is you can just do it again, study a little harder. So it might be a little bit of a nuisance, but you got to do what you got to do. And the thing about the Master of Management is, some people have really high quant scores, some people have really high qualitative scores. I personally did better in the analytical writing and the reading than I did in the quant, but I know from some of my classmates that it was the complete opposite. So that's kind of, I think, one of the beauties is that you're working with people who are so much different from yourself academically that you can build off each other's strengths.
Yeah. So definitely kind of working with different strengths of the class and kind of diversity has helped you a lot, right?
Exactly.
Okay, good to know. And I guess kind of as a way to round out this interview, do you have any tips for incoming students, people who have either accepted their offer or are looking to still apply into the program? Do you have any tips?
So for those who have accepted your offer and you think you want to come to UBC, my number one piece of advice would be, don't be afraid to put yourself out there and just go for it. That being in class, if you have an idea, I know I've talked to some classmates, people have said that our cohort's a little quieter. So if you have a thought and you want to share it, just say it, because the way that we learn and grow is sharing our opinions. That's the way the world operates, sharing ideas. So I would just say, in that vein, what do you have to lose? But also, if you want to get involved, don't feel afraid to get like over involved. I've gotten involved in so many different things since I've been here in a few months already, and I don't regret it at all. It just makes me feel like I'm a part of something.
Oh, excellent. And we love hearing that you feel like you're a part of a community, and you've obviously contributed a lot to the community too. So a huge thank you for that, Mackenzie. Well, I guess that's the final thing that I have to say. Is there any last words that you have or anything for our listeners?
No, you come to UBC. Sauder.
We would love that. Okay, well, I wanted to take this time to thank you so much for your time today. Just for those of you who didn't know, Mackenzie also did not need to be on campus today. Today was her day off. It was no classes held on campus. So a big thank you for coming up and chatting with myself. And hopefully your advice and insights will help our future students.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much. Thanks, Mackenzie. And for those of you who are still listening, if you are looking to apply into the program, we have an upcoming deadline. So make sure that you check our website out. We can be found on sauder.ubc.ca/mm. And this is Kevin checking out. Thank you very much, everyone.